Professor Hamidi is a professor of practice at the Thunderbird Global School of Management under the University of Arizona. And she's a public speaker. She empowers women. She talks about women in leadership position. She has worked in various capacities in Afghanistan, the last one being the Ministry of Education. And we are so glad to have you here with us today also. I wanted to ask you about your father, who was the mayor of Kandahar, Ghulam Haider Hamidi, a multidimensional, a very, very inspiring person. So if you were to give a message to the fathers of daughters in this world, in the present world today, what would it be?
Can never be a father. I'm a mother. So it's hard to put myself in that position, but I think if I can give one message to all the fathers, she's not a powerless creature born to be handed over from you to another man. She doesn't belong to someone. She is an individual just like your son. And when fathers start supporting their daughters, I have met many women across the globe in various stages of leadership positions or just wanting to do what they want to do as individuals. I don't have a statistic, but more often than not, when you ask her, what was your foundational support that led you to become the successful woman that you have? It's almost always my father supported me. So if we want more women leaders doing better things in this world, we need fathers supporting the little girls, because those little girls of today will become the future leaders of tomorrow.
He was defiant in sending you, I mean, this is the first time we've come to know that he has supported so many other families and girls with their education. People who didn't even belong to, were not related to him. He was so defiant that he, in fact, sent you to a private school, you and your sister, in Pakistan.
In Pakistan, because that's the only place we could go to as Afghan refugees. There were no schools for refugee children in the early 80s.
And then later on, he decided to shift to the US simply because he wanted you to get your education.
Right.
So the entire foundation of that decision was, to educate you and your sisters.
Exactly.
So that's wonderful. So today is the 21st of November, 2023. We are sitting here in Kolkata. We are in the middle of one after the other humanitarian crisis. We are on the threshold of an imminent climate disaster. In a situation like this, what is your advice to the women leaders, to the aspiring leaders, as well as every woman, who is a leader in her own right? What is your advice to every woman?
As much as we boast about the advances we've made as humanity in the world in the 21st century, we are faced with catastrophic atrocities, both in the natural world sense of basically destroying our own world with our own efforts.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, this is not a natural phenomenon.
No.
Our greed as human beings for creating and investing in elements that have contributed to the climate change, carbon, excessive amounts of carbon in our atmosphere. I feel like we, as women, because women naturally and across the globe, we've been the caretakers of our families, of our societies, and of our communities at the micro level. And it's unfortunate that our men leaders, not 100%, but most of the world is still led by men in terms of politics, in terms of decision making or policies, major policies at national and international levels. Yeah. And the fact that the men leaders have recognized this catastrophe so late in the game, from a scientific perspective, we're all now convinced that it's too late to return.
Yeah, it's irreversible.
It's irreversible. And so in order to manage and to lead any efforts to control in the capacity that we can, knowing that some things are not controllable, I think we women are just naturally better to handle because we proved our capacity and our leadership capabilities during COVID. When you compare women-led countries versus men-led countries.
Yes. New Zealand was doing great.
Germany at the time, so again, there's case after case where it proves that having a woman leader in times of crises just gets things better.
Yeah.
And so to know, and I'm not saying that men are not good. Men can choose to be good if they wish to.
Yeah.
The challenge is, are they willing to?
Mm-hmm.
As we're seeing, not just on a natural level, but even at the human crises level that are not, it's unthinkable that we're sitting in the 21st century with the advancements that we have today in all sectors of our lives, yet we still allow people to kill, to murder, to impose ideologies that blatantly, historically, and with information that is available to all of us, we completely shut our eyes and ears to that. And leaders of the world allow this. So my hope as a woman, and my hope in teaching, and not teaching, because I don't think we need to teach leadership, I think, but facilitating the leadership qualities to encourage more women to be daring and
stoke that leadership quality.
Exactly. Become the leaders that the world needs, because the world is in need of a different leadership model.
And yesterday you had also mentioned about the hospitality industry as a whole, which faces the brunt of the behavior of people nowadays, which is a manifestation of the polarization in the society and a lot of other influences. And in India, hospitality has, I think, the highest number of women working. What would be your advice to these women in handling these day-to-day situations, in their offices, while dealing with customers, difficult customers,
Women need to take it because we've been taking it historically for centuries.
Yeah.
I think what educational institutions really need to do, and this is part of the awareness raising and promoting programs of management and leadership for women, is for women to realize how to manage those situations better without feeling that they're the fault of somebody else's anger.
Mm-hmm.
We women have been told that when men get angry, no matter what industry, it could be home, it could be an office space, it could be a hotel, a meeting space. But we women have been taught to just quietly and submissively just take it because he was having a bad day, he was having a bad temper. But I think we as women leaders need to really empower women with the educational tools and the skill sets to be able to manage those instances and not just take it upon themselves in a, of course, professional, good manner. And then there also needs to be policies at the upper level to be able to address such instances and really take into consideration the mental and physical stress that such incidents could put on women. So the mental health state of a woman experiencing that on a regular basis needs to be part of the HR package, for example, in any company, to make sure that women are not abused at that level professionally, because I really see it as an extension of the abuse that women have been
at home,
and now to an environment and under the auspices of service. Customer service is an important element, right? Particularly in a country such as America, there's this notion in the retail industry that the customer is always right.
Yes.
And so when the customer is always right, you as the service provider you really can't question much, right?
And you have to cater to everything.
Every
that the customer
need,
wants.
every
Yeah.
wish, every desire.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, I think it's important for the knowledge industry to research about that. You know, first of all, let's research. Let's really do our due diligence to understand this phenomena, and then figure out ways of how to train, particularly women, but men too, to handle. And I would not be surprised to assume that women service providers probably get a bigger portion of the, you know, the bad behavior than men.
Yeah.
Although I'm making an assumption again, a gender biased assumption. Perhaps men are too, but we just don't know. But the assumption is that women are probably getting more. And if there are more number of women in this industry, obviously they're going to get it more because there's just greater numbers. So I think we are responsible as educational institutions to start looking at that as the outcome of we train people to be service providers, but have we trained them enough to be able to then handle complicated and pricey situations where they might become vulnerable?
Thank you for your time. Very, very insightful and inspiring. And I was, this just went on a flow, the entire interview. Thank you so much. We wish you all the best in all the endeavors right now. Good wishes to your daughter, Zara. And Mr. Abdullah.
You've learned all their names. That's so beautiful.
Google helped,
Great.
Yeah, and I believe he's a civil engineer.
He's a civil engineer by training. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yes. Lovely. It was lovely meeting you, and IIHM would love to have you over once again.
I would love to stay in touch.
For a great hospitality career, call 98310 50,000.